Интернета у меня нету, телевидения, газеты. Ну, наполовину. Теперь я думаю, что процентов на 95 верить нельзя.
Advance Without Borders, a humanitarian aid team who heads to the hotspot areas of Ukraine to give out everything and anything to those in need. So I'm Jack, and this is
Phantom, Justin, Edward, Nick.
До свидания. I've just come out of interviewing the captured Russian or Luhansk People's Republic soldier, and before the war they told us he was a coal miner. He was conscripted as part of the mobilization in February last year, so he was here since the start of the Russian invasion.
Хотя знали, что ничего не получат, ни благодарности, ни возмездия, ни я не смогу ничем отблагодарить.
The Ukrainian soldiers found him last night, so we interviewed him when he had been captured for less than 24 hours.
So they said when they found him, he was underground for 2 days in a bunker.
Во время атаки украинских солдат меня засыпало в блиндаже землей. Я находился там 2,5 суток. Откапывали меня 3,5 часа, 2 украинских простых солдата. Потом 2 других украинских солдата на себя меня практически несли, вынесли под обстрелы. Это в основном простые, обыкновенные, ну такие рабочие когда-то были. Сейчас они взяли оружие и защищают свою родину. Это те, кого называют фашистами, они просто так на свой страх и риск меня откапывали и выносили.
As you see, he can't even put his boots on. Completely frostbitten, frozen. And this is how the Russians treat their soldiers. They leave them. So if this man hadn't been saved by the Ukrainian army, he'd be probably dead by now.
Я не знаю их имен, фамилий, позывных. Но я очень им благодарен, потому что если бы не было их, я бы уже был не живой. Низкий им поклон.
Понятно.
Большое спасибо.
So the Ukrainians really saved his life, and again, that will just be devastating for this Russian's morale, because obviously he was quite grateful that he is still alive, but his 6 squad members, his comrades as such, abandoned him. They left him to die.
Воюешь за Россию или тебе просто сказали делать, и ты делаешь?
Мне сказали делать, и я делаю. Амуницию в основном покупали за свои деньги. Тренинги, обучение были как бы... Сначала говорили, будете служить 3 месяца, потом полгода, потом до особого распоряжения.
А желания бросить и сбежать не было?
Было,
Что мешало?
но не получилось.
Ну, вас что там, обещали расстрелять или ничего, или просто...
Я хотел списаться по заболеванию. Не получилось. 7 лет назад принес онкологическое заболевание.
So as part of the Luhansk People's Republic, he would have believed that there would be a great Russian empire and Ukraine should be Russian, and Russian solidarity, Russian comradeship. So you can imagine he was pretty diminished, wasn't particularly happy, quite depressed, and that's understandable because, well, if I was him, I'd be feeling pretty abandoned by the Russian state.
Откуда ты информацию о ситуации до того, как тебя призвали, получал? Телевидение, слухи, сплетни, интернет?
Интернета у меня нету, телевидения, газеты.
Ну, российское все.
Да, российская ВНР.
Ну, то есть ты читаешь и веришь тому, что там написано, или...
Ну, наполовину. Теперь я думаю, что процентов на 95 верить нельзя.
So you can see here where his hands are incredibly swollen where he's been out in the cold and a possible frostbite there.
For all Russian soldiers seeing this, or Russian sympathisers who are thinking about joining the Russian army, the reality is if you join, you're potentially going to freeze to death because the Russians don't care about you. They made no efforts to come and get him. He was seen as expendable, he was seen as cannon fodder. And it's an unfortunate reality of war, but that's what life's like being a Russian soldier, it appears to be.
So we've attempted to try and reach a cut-off village via this bridge, but as you can see the bridge has been blown up and the only markings preventing you going across are some bits of tree. So we have to find another route to get through. Thankfully we're in the countryside, and as they say in the country, all roads link up. So we're here in Kharkiv. As you can see, despite the city becoming more of a safe city and less rocket attacks, less explosions, people are still extremely desperate for warm clothing and bedding. It's absolutely freezing. There's not always water and electricity, so people don't have a chance to wash their clothes. There's no heating, so these people are taking everything they can to keep warm and survive.
I'm just on the edge of Kharkiv, where we're giving out aid. We've got an enormous amount. You've got to start thinking laterally about what people would need in this situation. Okay, this is how these people live. A lot of this stuff you can see from the outside. If you look closely, you can see there's been shelling, there's been shrapnel up the wall, windows blown out.
So thank you very much for donating these rugby shirts. As you see, they're going down a treat. People are very excited to see brand new clothing coming over to Ukraine.
What do these people do wrong? Nothing. So you think about aid, you think about food, bandages, tourniquets, all that kind of stuff. What about crutches? What about incontinence pads? What about a fresh pair of briefs? What about baby wipes? How about some dignity? Just the basic we take for granted in the West every single day.
So my hand is still pink from the cold. That's Vidania. So you're starting to see a lot of these big NGO vehicles. I film them too much, they might get a bit suspicious, but it's nice to see they finally turned up in places like Kharkiv. But where were they, 9 months ago when we were here? Where were they when the people of Kharkiv were being shelled, needed evacuating, needed food? It's very interesting, isn't it? So we came to Kharkiv being told it was a safe city, it doesn't get bombed anymore, but the sirens have just gone off. That means that explosions are imminent. There's a thud in the distance there. If this district siren's going off, it might mean there's incoming coming in soon. Right, so when we were in Kramatorsk packing up aid to take to frontline villages, we heard this massive screech and then boom, and we thought we were being shelled. So we initially went to take cover, and then we realised it was a car crash. So a local who was fleeing an area or a village in the Donbass to Kramatorsk had crashed into an army vehicle while he was on the motorway. It was a pretty horrific crash, and the army guys were all right because they had a big 4x4, but the local's car was absolutely battered. He had several gashes on the back of his head as well as on his head, and they were really deep too, so we did what we could to try and help him. Unfortunately, adrenaline had kicked in when we got there, and the guy was really concerned about his car because that was everything he had left in the world, and obviously it's a complete write-off now, and with insurance companies not paying out at the moment, for obvious reasons there's a war on, it's unlikely he's going to get a new car. So he was in a pretty terrible state, but even while we were trying to treat him, he was looking at his car. Shortly after we treated him, we left him, we got him some water, gave him some painkillers as well. An ambulance turned up and took him off to hospital, but it looked like he had some serious head trauma, and luckily Fenton was there to patch him up. We've just seen that young lad with Down syndrome again begging outside the shop in Kramatorsk, so we just got him some different bits. Some thermals, washing powder, toothbrush, toothpaste, as well as some sweet bits and some tins. So we just dropped those bits off to that guy with Down syndrome. He doesn't really speak much English, gave him a bit of cash which we told him to tuck away as well. And we're trying to find out if we can signpost him to a group, but the unfortunate thing about the Donbass region is everyone who ran things is either occupied at the moment or they've evacuated to the west of the country. Just asked him, who's looking after you, who do you live with? He said he doesn't have a mum, doesn't have a dad, he doesn't have a phone, so we can't even contact him to check he's okay. Pretty shit situation.